still waiting. Hello? Okay, come on. No, not you. Friends, my dog thought there was somebody here. Hey, how's it going? I'm just doing a little mini podcast here to catch up on my comic book because I got my own little version of comicsgate going on here. But anyway, here's some of the pencils. Look at that. It's really coming along. There's my opening page. There's my character's armor that he's wearing. And, you know, here he is. He's up on top of a abandoned building. You know, I'll show some like broken windows or whatever, or, you know, on the building right there. Here he is taking the helmet off. Now you get to see what my character looks like, and starting to get the glove, his gloves in there, his gauntlets, and then now here comes page 3. Here he is, putting the helmet back on. He's standing up. See that? That was a hard angle to draw. You'll see like a parking lot down here. There's a stick figure of him just kind of, it's almost the same view, a little different, but him falling or jumping off the edge of the building. Then I just really blew up that image of him. This image right here, I just really kind of put that right in the center of the page, and it overlaps panels, you know, just overlaps panels. That's him upside down, like twisting in the air, getting ready to land, and then he lands right there. And so this is pretty cool. This basically, this page sequence will look like this, pretty much. Not bad, not bad. So there it is. If I can get a full shot of this, but there it is. I don't know. It's hard to. You get the picture, basically, I guess. Hopefully, you know. So it's really coming together. This page is just really that. You know, I'm really doing the detail. Trying to make it look, you know, like it doesn't have to be metal, you know what I mean? It could be some kind of polymer, you know what I mean? It's probably sheet metal over, who knows, could be sheet metal over some kind of like, you know, resin material with like Kevlar, you know what I mean? Kevlar in there or something like that, whatever, you know, he used to make it. It has to look somewhat glossy, you know what I mean? Not super glossy, but that's what I'm trying to go for, is kind of a glossy look with reflections on it here and there. Not so much dark areas. Thought you people might like that, and you know, I've just really went to town on the detail here. I mean, look at that. See that? These 2 pages looking pretty tight. Just having fun. It's it's Monday afternoon, Labor Day, and yeah, I'm just sitting here drinking coffee, which reminds me, I gotta pour that coffee. Getting some coffee here. Oh man. Yeah, the storyline is very I think I'm gonna have it to where he is working on this armor. Nobody quite, knows a lot about him. He's very quiet. Like he eventually works his way up into this like pretty high level contracting company. And but he kind of is, new there. He's not new at the, he has a good reputation. I'm not saying nobody knows who he is, but like I'm going to go into his past because he like basically has flashbacks to it. And I might have it to where he actually steals this armor. We'll see exactly how I go as I pretty much write it out. But because it's going to be used for the wrong thing, basically. And he hears the people that are contracting him out talking and stuff. And it could go that way, or I could have him just make it himself. Like he has all this stuff to do it. Like I was thinking maybe like after he gets into, that he was going to be into robotics, basically. And but he doesn't, he's not like he works his way up into contracting. He's really smart, like basically, and he fights a lot. That's where he earns the name Nut Job. He fights bullies a lot, and and then he basically that's like one of his favorite pastimes is fighting bullies. And so he basically then when he gets some money, he starts playing. He becomes kind of like a playboy for a little while, and he basically starts getting into robotics a little bit, and then basically everything in society falls apart. It goes back into his he remembers all this, or you see him. I do flashbacks, like I said, if you're just tuning into all this stuff later, and everything goes awry basically, and after that. And it's basically it talks about the decline that we're basically experiencing now, but I'm going to do it a little bit more in the future, to where this guy was like pretty much prepared for it because he saw it coming, and he makes this armor, or he steals it from a company that's making it, that he's helping build it. Nobody like even suspects him, and he just like I don't want to give away too much of my storyline, but basically like something happens, they come in, he's got the armor on and he just like fights his way out with it or something crazy like that. That would be cool too. But yeah, it's just really shaping up, man. It's really shaping up. Look at this, him jumping off this building. Look at that. You can just see his chin basically sticking out from underneath the chin guard there. Arms outstretched, twisting, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Because the right foot he has to land right foot forward, left foot back to make it consistent. And I had to think about it, and I had to imagine him twisting. Like, okay, he would have to start turning his body, and then his legs would like catch up, and then he would be like, you can't see the lines but too well, but there's the bottom of there's the parking lot just below him. You know what I mean? I'm gonna have to show some things down here, like maybe a dumpster, I don't know, something for scale. You know what I mean? So you can see how high up he is. And I've erased. I was watching some of these other artists. It was probably like Gary Shipman, and I was watching him do like shiny Batman type, you know, uh, he doesn't really have a helmet. He's got like a leather mask, I guess, which I think is stupid. I think Batman would have armor myself all the time, not just like armor to fight Superman. You know, uh, otherwise, I mean, I don't know. Fighting doesn't go the way you fucking want. Fighting never goes the way you want it to. I'll tell you right now. I don't know if you've seen or been in enough fights to know that fighting almost never fucking goes the way you really want it to. And I think Batman would have, especially multiple opponents all the time, just constantly. Nah, you would get fucked up. You would get shot, stabbed. Something would happen. I would think Batman would have some kind of at least Kevlar cloth over, like, you know, some kind of a polymer like plates underneath it, or over top of that maybe, or something. I don't know, but maybe not. I could be wrong. But yeah, I basically was watching Gary Shipman, and I was like, well, he's painting. You know, I could see where he was doing. He was leaving an area for gradations, so I thought, well, I'll just cut these streaks in with the eraser, and I'll leave that for the colorist to do a gradation. Do, you know, to this down here, and that could be all gradations. But who's in here? Somebody's watching. I'm gonna say hello if you're in the chat. Do a. But who's in here? Oh, nobody chatting. So. Yeah, I'm doing my own little version of comicsgate, and it's basically, you know, yeah, I feel like, you know, I might not. I mean, I'll have to talk more about it later. I don't want to do it right now, but I feel like I don't know that comicsgate is the real thing, and that you know, I sense. Comics, you know, I don't want Comicsgate to be dominated, so I'm kind of, you know, I have my own little version of Comicsgate where, you know, I'm uh, I'm going to address, I think, deeper issues than just there's some SJWs causing trouble. Like I feel like I want to talk more about the root of the problem, and I've tried to talk about that in Comicsgate, and I get no replies, and nobody wants to debate me either. So I'm being ignored, and that's what the SJWs do. Like, nobody wants to debate me. The Comicsgate people have basically called me names and told me, you know, basically in a lot of the forums, they basically called me a Nazi. I've had Comicsgate people call me a Nazi. How does that? And I've had them, and it's like I'm a very pro-American white male, and I disagree. I think this country is communist now because I pay a lot of taxes to the point where I'm being taxed out of existence, while so that people from other places can come here and have families and get educated in my own country. And I want to talk about that, and Comicsgate doesn't seem to want to talk about that. And I don't want to just talk about how the SJWs are calling me a Nazi, and the Comicsgate people are calling me a Nazi. I want to, you know, it's like there's there's issues going on here that, like, I feel like are being ignored, which is, you know, I want to talk about, you know, basically what I just was talking about, that you can't, you know, I got Comicsgate people calling me Nazis, and I don't know. Here, let me have a sip of my coffee here. Gather my thoughts. but I am a Christian, and I think we need better. I think we need better role models in the media, and I think we need better leadership in comicsgate. I think we need better leadership as to solutions. Oh yeah, I want to talk about how the liberals are attacking saying, basically the liberals or whatever SJWs are how they don't have a problem with the non-whites in comicsgate. They have a problem with us white people. Nobody wants white males to do anything. They want us wiped out of existence, and that's not me being a Nazi saying that. And if you, as a comic skater, call me a Nazi for pointing that out, or for saying we need to have a solution to that, because I want to know how certain white males are making it to the top if the system is purposely eliminating white males. Like, there's certain that tells me that the system is rigged, and I want to talk about how the system is rigged. And anybody, I want people to come on here and debate me, and comicsgate people will not debate me on this platform. Come on my platform, or let me onto their platform so I can really start talking about how, how did you make it out of your whole graduating class? Only certain people are being chosen to make it, that are supposedly conservative, to make it into entertainment. Basically, almost all of entertainment is a bunch of liberal, SJW, anti-American stuff, which is purposely being done. And we need to inject better role models. You know what I mean? And this content that I'm doing for my comic book character is about a guy who stands up to bullies. That's what this is all about. His whole character is based on from childhood. He just is like, hey, I'm going to start punching bullies around, and he does, which I should have done a lot sooner in my life. I tried to be a super nice guy. I was like, I don't want violence. You know what I mean? That's what they're doing. They're teaching you fighting back is violence. And I was like, I don't want to be violent. I must be different. I wouldn't say I was gay. I wouldn't say I was effeminate. I wouldn't say I was a pacifist because I was from a veteran family. So I would always be like, well, I'm different. I'm different. No, I'm not different. I'm a man. They try to make you feel like, we got to really start talking about the psychological warfare being used on on males in general, but white males are being completely targeted. Or we would, and if you, for even wanting to say, what if I'm just like, white people need to start not paying such high taxes for immigrants to get, and people to come here and get welfare and get educated and have families, so white men and women can have families if they want and get educated. And people and comicsgate people call me a Nazi for saying that, while out of the other side of their mouth saying like, oh, I'm not racist, I'm not a Nazi to the SJW. So it's like, I think comicsgate needs to come more over to the nationalistic side, and that doesn't include, or that doesn't exclude other races. It just includes maybe black people in comicsgate need to start talking about why are white males hated so much in this country. I don't hear any black comic skaters just specifically saying the hate has got to stop against white people in this country. And they're not, I don't know if they'll do it. I'm here to say it. The hate, and men in general, like every other day it comes out in the paper or something that some female gets caught with like her 13-year-old student, not even a 17-year-old or maybe, not even like an 18-year-old football jock or something, fully developed football jock. Nope, some 13-year-old little boy in her cars with the windows all steamed up. But then there's airline companies that won't let men sit next to children. It's okay for women, though. Even though women are constantly being caught now in the news with little boys, it's okay for women to sit next to children. This absolute discrimination against men and white males in the colleges. I don't hear them talking about how this all starts in the public schools. I don't hear them critiquing Hollywood, and I think it's because they know they'll lose their jobs or something, or or because either that or they're part of this whole. I don't know, man. I don't hear the leaders in comicsgate really talking about how, it's just certain SJWs. No, it's very powerful SJWs that are allowed to make it through public school, through the colleges, while white males and males in general are weeded out and have to take a back seat. That white cis hetero pro-American males have to join the military and get blown up into pieces, and then everyone's like, oh, support the troops, give them free comic books. No, don't make poor men join the military if they don't have to, and if they don't want to. I mean, unless they, you know what I mean? Just because they're poor, and then come back and be homeless and have their wife take them. Yeah, you guys don't care about the troops. Comicsgate does. I'm going to put that. I should put that in the title. Comicsgate doesn't give one damn about the troops. Comicsgate doesn't care about the troops. I'm going to put that in the title of this. Hey, Cave Creature. Hey, Hoth Rebel. Thanks, Hoth Rebel. Give up with the West. It's done. Cave Creature, you understand what I'm talking about. No, you're right. It is done. This country is absolutely done. Done. It's had the kibosh put on it. Yeah. This country's done. And I don't think Comicsgate cares about the troops. There's homeless veterans all over the place with restraining orders on them that can't see their kids, and they're men. They're men. Most homeless people are men. Homeless white males everywhere killing themselves. Well, SJWs are making money perverting our little kids, and it's all being done on purpose. And then people are like, oh, support the troops. You don't support the troops. You guys don't support the troops, man. No, I support the troops by telling the truth and saying this country's done, and our troops are way overseas doing nothing, building bridges and shit, and helping opium be brought over here so we can put all our veterans on drugs and drug everybody up. That's what's going on. And then the veterans come home, they can't even get jobs in this country. They end up homeless. I can show you. What is it? Invisible People? There's a YouTube channel called Invisible People. There's homeless women on there too, by the way. But there's homeless veterans everywhere. Nobody gives a shit about veterans. It's all about I feel better about myself because I say I support the troops. No. Listen, man. All these piece of crap SJWs go right to the top. The scum goes right to the top of the water, and all the good men sink right down to the fucking bottom, and they have to join the military and go get shot up for George Bush. Speaking of Nazis, there's your Nazis right there, the Bush family. It's like they're a known Nazi family that Republicans voted for years. It finally came out that how are the Bushes involved in the CIA when George Bush's grandfather tried to overthrow the government in this country and replace it with socialism, like Nazi socialism, which now we're finding out later, hey, I guess the world does hate white people. You know what I'm saying? Do you see how ridiculous this gets? It is ridiculous, man. I mean, I don't know what to say, man. I guess the West is done. It's cooked. And this is about the ending of the West right here. Look at that. Look at that. He's got the sovereign star. And you know what? This comic book is all about how he never wins. It's all about how he fights and fights and fights, but he never wins. Like you know what I mean? He's always on the run. He's always hiding. People everywhere everybody that tries to help him dies. It's a very sick, twisted storyline. It's got some cool. I'm gonna have some humor in it because I like humor, but you know, he's like the new Ash. This guy, he's gonna be like the new Ash. He fights fucking monsters, and people think he's out of his mind for doing it, but he does it, and I'm gonna give him a motorcycle. It's come down to I'm gonna give him like this self-contained motorcycle, like it even has like autopilot or something, so he can just and like a shell comes up, and he can just like kick back in his armor and like go to sleep, and the motorcycle like just drives down the street with him inside of it and shit. It's got guns mounted on it and shit, and it's gonna be pretty cool. Nutjob's got to have a motorcycle, and I think the motorcycle is gonna have it's gonna be like a transforming type thing, so it's gonna be pretty cool. He's gonna have some like kind of multi-terrain motorcycle. It might even make it fly. Something crazy like that. So he's like a Evil Knievel he's like a road warrior Evil Knievel, basically, is what this guy's turning out to be. Nutjob. So there's that. I wanted to come on and rant. I'm actually waiting. It's like, you know, I've talked about this before. You know, I rent out my upstairs, and it's like people, they start thinking like, I don't know, man. It's like they start thinking like they own the place, and it's not a full apartment. It's just the upstairs, and it doesn't have a full stove in the kitchen or anything. And the girl up there is like, you know, oh, I think can you take it off the rent and help me get a refrigerator or whatever? And I'm like, it's not a furnished apartment, man. I'm telling you, and I already charge her only like $400 for the entire upstairs, which is several rooms and a mini kitchen and a big walk-in bathroom with a walk-in shower, like a big sit-down shower. You know what I mean? And she's like, "Can you help me buy a refrigerator?" I'm like, "Fuck." But I am giving her money because she's helping me. This lady's helping me get my kids actually for free. I've probably talked about that. So I did some work for my father, and I threw her $100 towards a refrigerator, and I told her I'll give her more. So I'm waiting for her right now because her food all went bad. She's got no refrigerator up there, so I got to give her a ride. And but other than that, I thought I'd do a podcast in the meantime and just really show you guys how things are coming together. She has her law degree. You're a fan of Evil Dead? Yeah, he's gonna be a lot like Ash, but he's more moral. He's not like he gets himself in some crazy situations like Ash. Like all right, I'm gonna have some situations. Well, first off, she got her law degree, Cave Creature, and she got a job down at the courthouse. Oh, this is really working out for her. They have a program called Lawyer for a Day, and she doesn't have her bar. She didn't take the bar because she doesn't even have the money to take the bar. You need money to pay to take the bar. She doesn't even have that. But she's got her degree, and they have this new program down there called Lawyer for a Day. So and she got accepted, I think. So she's actually going to be getting paid to pick and choose what cases she wants and represent people, and that's pretty cool because she did a good job with me. On to the other thing. Yes, he gets tangled up with some women while he's hiding out, damaged women, and it gets him in a lot more trouble. And he eventually he goes basically kind of MGTOW. He just swears off women altogether. And I'll get into that because his wife falsely accuses him, takes his kids, loses kind of gives up one of the kids to the Satanists to be killed. He gets revenge on her. He gets his son. It starts off where he's getting ready to leave civilization, but he can't leave without his son, basically. Is the name Nutjob set in stone? I remember you were thinking, I might change the name of the comic. I don't know. I like Nutjob. Why? Do you have a better name, Hoth? If people can come up with a better name for him, but I like Nutjob. Yeah, it's kind of I kind of like Nutjob because you know he takes a derogatory term as a kid because he starts getting bullied by society because he doesn't have a lot of money and he's poor, and he starts to realize like, oh, everything comes down to money, and so he eventually beats up the football team. How about Mad Dad? Disgruntled dad. What was the name of the I did come up with another name for the comic though. Like it doesn't have to be named after his character, and it was something like oh, I can't remember now. I can't remember. I came up with an alternative name for the comic, but I was going to leave him named Nutjob. Some people think that the name Nutjob makes him sound like a bad guy, though, and he does kind of come off as a bad guy. You got to kind of see the comic, though. Like, okay, the comic takes the angle of how society has viewed doing the right thing as doing the wrong thing. So, yeah, he's not cool with the government. Basically, once he goes rogue, they start calling him nut job too. Like just everybody calls him nut job. So he eventually is like, fine. And he puts his helmet on, and he's like, I'm nut job then. You know what I mean? And he's like, I'm a nut job. He's like, if doing the right thing, he's like, if I'm nuts, if people think I'm crazy for doing the right thing, then I'm the worst nut job you'll ever meet, basically. And that's how that basically goes. And there's like wanted posters up with nut job. It says wanted, wanted for high crimes, terrorism, theft of government property, just whatever, you know what I mean, or destruction of government property, and armed and dangerous. There's like all, and like all these, basically there's bounties out for him. So every now and then he runs into bounty hunters, basically, and he has to fight bounty hunters too because he's an outlaw. He's a complete outlaw, and I think it's as good as Batman. Nutjob is at least as good as Batman. I mean, Batman's a really weird name if you think about it. So is it's as good as I don't know. I'm trying to think of another example. Yeah, off the top of my head. What was the name? I should have wrote that name down. I guess if it was a good enough name, it would have stuck with me. He's basically a vigilante. He's basically a vigilante, though, and he takes the law. He basically takes the law into his own hand because he eventually realizes there's no real justice. And he starts out basically he learns that he learns that the only way to garner any respect in this new society that we have is through either money or fear. And he loses all his money, so the only way for him to garner respect is through fear. So he also likes the name Nut Job because it instills, you know what I mean, like it's an intimidation tactic, I guess. You know what I mean? For people to think that he's absolutely just out of it, that he's fucking crazy. But the people that have eyes to see and ears to hear and hear the things that he's done, you know what I mean? They're like they like become fans of him, sort of, but you know what I mean? Like, and some of them actually try to join him, like he recruits people. How's that possible? Hello. Hey, what's up? Yo. Yeah, hang on. It is my day off today, Cape Preacher. I'm doing a podcast and I just got a phone call during a podcast. That's all. I'm showing off some of my comic book art. I've really detailed it up. It's starting to look pretty kick ass. I'll show it to you when you come over. You're gonna cook? Sweet. Hey, thank you. I will come over. Yes. Okay. All right then. Yeah, I'll be over. All right. Thanks for the invite. Yeah. Okay, that's good. Yeah, because I might have to I got to run an errand first. But yeah, I'll be over in about an hour and a half. All right. Later. I'll stop by his house. All right. All right, later. Man, what was the name? Oh God, I wish I could remember the name. Other than that, if anybody, if you guys want to help me come up with a better name for Nut Job, than Nut Job. The name Nut Job it appealed to me one day. Maybe I don't know. I like it. I kind of like it. You have to picture the cover of the comic with the artwork, and then Nut Job on the, you know what I mean? Picture the comic book with the title Nut Job. I think it will grab the reader's attention, like, oh, Nut Job, what could this possibly be about? And then when they open it up, and then when they open up the comic book and they see him just fucking biting people and, just beating and throwing people 15 feet in the air and shit like that, and kicking people in the ear with his work boots on and shit like that. Just fucking, they'll be like, oh, okay, that's why he's Nut Job. You know what I mean? You got to see him fight. When he fights, you have, I mean, it's not going to be like One Punch where people explode, because I'm making it. Okay, I know I'm not trying to brag. I'm not the best fighter in the world, but I know people, mainly my sister. My sister's dated a couple ex-convicts, which means my sister knows bikers and ex-convicts, and I've been at some parties where I've seen some fights that you would not way more. I've seen fights way more devastating than anything that you've ever seen in the UFC happen, like right in front of me. I've seen guys just a little bit bigger than me, maybe 210, 215 pounds, just take guys that weigh like 300 pounds, 275 pounds, and just throw them way the fuck up in the air. Just be like, boop, and the guy's way the fuck up in the air, like 15 feet in the air, and comes down and like lands on his back and shit like that. Like, I've seen people just be like, buh, 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 kick him in the ear, and then squat down and just fucking throw them, and they just go woo, way up in the air and go woo, and like and land on their back fucking 15, 20 feet away. I've seen that happen right in front of me before, and I'm just like, like stuff that you see in kung fu theater, I've seen happen right in front of me in fights right here in my city where I live. So when you see the fight scenes in Nut Job, a lot of them are based on fights that I've on shit that, just like Jack Kirby. I think Jack Kirby started out doing little comic strips of the gangs, the people in his neighborhood just beating the shit out of each other. You know what I mean? That's how Jack Kirby started. And that's kind of like what Nut Job is basically. And, you know, when you see him fight a lot, I might run out of ideas after the first, few years of comic books. But for that few years, it's just going to be, when he has his, that's going to be a lot of the exciting stuff too, is when he has his armor off, when he's not in his armor and he's out walking, he's, walking around like a pedestrian, and he gets in fights with bad guys, and he just stomps the fuck out of bad guys. Or excuse my language, stomps the hell out of bad guys. Then you'll really understand, why people call him Nut Job, because they see him fight and they think he's crazy. They're like, that dude's fucking insane. Basically. And he does have the title Nut Job as a fighter in the Union, because they take, two guys have a beef. One guy's bullying the other guy, and he's just like, hey, let's fight after work. And, they go out in the parking lot after work. Everybody places bets, and they have kind of a league. It's like a fight club thing going on, basically, where, he becomes like a champion fighter, basically. And, but he doesn't like doing that so much because people get hurt, and it hurts the company. And but he does do it every now and then. Then he works his way. He gains a lot of respect, and because he garners a lot of respect that way, and he works his way up into the top management and the unions, or the top management of the unions, like the top guys. That's when he starts finding out there's a lot of corruption going on, and then basically everything falls apart for him. And then it's like almost like just at the same time, like society really falls apart. Like he's downtrodden for a while, he gets out of and he's lost everything. And he realizes society's going to hell anyway. And, and so basically he starts becoming a vigilante. And he's trying to get out of society, but he can't leave without his son, basically. And so that's where the storyline picks up, is where he's trying to get his son back. And it's not very easy. And so that's pretty much how the storyline goes. And other than that, yeah, basically, like, the monsters, the bad guys that are running society have his son, and so he has to get his son back. And that's how that goes. And his son takes over for him eventually, because he dies. And but that would be a whole nother story arc. So I don't really need to get into that right now. I don't even know, I got to see how this goes. So I got to get going, everybody. Thanks for joining in. Does Jutnob use any melee weapons? Yes. He has. Well, his whole armor is kind of a melee weapon. But let me see. He has he has like brass knuckles with like spikes built in. I got it. Once I start, detailing in, like right here, actually, on this picture right here where he's holding his helmet, you'll see some spikes on his gloves, basically, you know what I mean, or basically metal wedges at the top, where his knuckles are. There's 3 of them that stick out, and they're basically like brass knuckles, but they're worse. They're like metal wedges, so when he hits people with them, it punctures holes in their bones and breaks bones and rips chunks out of people's faces and shit like that. I was thinking about putting like these little power vents, like little vents of energy here and there, where if he hits somebody, it causes a blast of energy. You know what I mean? That would be pretty cool too. But then that would take away my idea for another character that I had in mind if I do that. But you know, whatever. That would be cool. Like if you have these vents where you see like, you know, glowing energy or something here and there on his fists and on his elbows and kneecaps or something. So when he's like bah bah and like knees somebody, you see like an energy blast and you see like their ribs getting blown out and their fucking face getting blown off and shit like that. You know what I mean? That would be pretty cool. You know, but that would use a lot of energy and I would have to explain that to some degree. You know, but it might be pretty cool. I didn't plan that though, and I kind of don't want to change my course right now because I'm really getting this. This is kind of getting solidified now. Fun, fun, fun. This coffee is delicious. Spoiler alert. Bye later. How are you going to promote the comic? Who left? Does not chat. So I don't know. I want to eat something. I'm very hungry, and you guys don't need to sit here while I cook. I'm very glad that people are actually joining in and watching and giving me thumbs up and stuff, man. It makes me feel a little better about what I'm doing here. So I'll talk to y'all later. I gotta eat something, and I'm gonna bounce for now. But thanks for tuning in, you guys. Thanks for your support. Please, people, help support me. You know, in my little endeavor here, and in return, I'm going to try to put out cool comic books for people to read and for affordable prices. You know, if I could get a good printing done and get like 10 or 12,000 issues, and you know what I mean, and get like a bulk rate so that I could sell them for, you know, sell like little mini comic books for like a coupled out like $2.50 or $3 or something like that. That would be pretty cool. Just sign them or something. And you know, I have to kind of take these things as I come to it. But for now, to get an Indiegogo going, I have to have some good. I have to have some really good inks. I have to have some inked pages about, you know what I mean, in a video and all that stuff. And you know, and so I gotta start focusing more on getting the actual, like, at least 5, 6, 7 pages fully done, like inked and everything. All right, so bye, people, and I will talk to you later. Have a good one wherever you are.